I am Mary, a housewife living in a double-family house with my in-laws. I met my husband John when we were in college, and we were together for 5 years before we got married. For the first 2 years of our marriage, we lived together in an apartment. However, my parents-in-law strongly requested that we build a double-family house. I had seen my in-laws many times since my husband and I started dating. Both of my parents-in-law were kind and always treated me well. So the proposal to build a double-family house was accepted easily. The house has 2 entrances, and you have to go out once to get to the other house, so we have our own space, and we could help each other if something happened. My parents lived far away, so I was rather grateful to have them live close by. For the first 6 months after moving, I think we had a good relationship as I imagined. One day I got hives all over my body. At the beginning it was just slightly. It happened when my parents-in-law, my husband and I, went out for dinner. We went to a Thai restaurant. My mother-in-law and I arrived at the restaurant early. We were looking at the menu to order before the others arrived. My mother-in-law wanted to order a dish with cilantro on it.
So I said, Mother, John hates cilantro, so let's ask the restaurant to remove it.
This was it. My mother-in-law didn't know that her son doesn't eat cilantro.
What? What is that? Are you trying to say that you know John better than me?
What? I don't remember she'd ever been like this. I felt as if the time had stopped for a moment. I still remember the moment when my mother-in-law's face, who had always been so kind to me, turned devilish. My father-in-law and John arrived shortly thereafter. The dinner ended peacefully, as if my mother-in-law's earlier comment had never happened. After that day, my mother-in-law started harassing me every day. I know how much she loved John, but this was more than I had imagined. By the way, I know John was never a mommy's boy. That's the only thing that saved me. Ding dong. Every morning around 10 a.m., John left for work. Then my mother-in-law would come over just to harass me.
Oh, it's such a beautiful day, but you haven't done the laundry yet. What a lazy wife.
At first, she started by being picky with my housework. In the beginning, I didn't expect her to come every day. I managed to get by with a jokey smile, but it gradually gets too far.
Hey, when are you gonna get divorced? A wife like you pisses everyone here. I think the only mistake in John's life is marrying you.
I tried my best not to grab a thick book to shut her mouth. I just smiled and let the sarcasm roll off my face for a few hours until she left. When she saw that no damage had been done to me, she even changed her attitude when John was there. She started talking to John in a cat-like voice. This voice made me feel uncomfortable, and even gave me goosebumps. I was getting so tired that I seriously thought about getting a thick book for her. My husband's reaction to my mother-in-law was gentle, a little annoyed. But as usual,
I feel sorry for Johnny that you're serving him this kind of food. Johnny leaves early in the morning because she wants to spend less time with you.
Before I knew it, she started calling him Johnny. That's not what you should be sorry for, but whatever. This person really needs to shut up. As a peace lover, I tried my best not to see her as possible. I would go out when she was coming over, but then she would not stop calling me. And when I came back, she would be waiting in front of the house and yelled at me. I knew I couldn't run anymore. I didn't want to let John know about this because I hate drama, so my body collapsed by getting hives. At that time, I did think about telling John, but my mother-in-law changed to a kind mother as she used to be before in front of her son. What a monster! A cunning woman would be a fox, but with my mother-in-law's body shape, a raccoon was more suitable for her. I wondered how to explain this monstrous raccoon to John and his father. Even if I told them honestly, they might not believe me. I couldn't take action. My father-in-law had always treated me well, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law were a close couple. He would be devastated. If I could just endure a few hours of the mean monster raccoon every day, then maybe that would be better. One day while I was thinking these things, John had to go to a dinner with clients and left his car at the office and took a cab home. His boss had arranged for him to come to work in the afternoon the next day because he couldn't use the car. John woke up around the time he usually left the house, and we had breakfast together. He was always rushing around in the morning, so it was nice to spend time together in the morning. I made a little more luxurious breakfast than usual. John is a salesman, so he is good at entertaining people by talking about what happened. So I laughed and laughed while he told about the dinner last night. After breakfast, he went to the bathroom. Ding dong, my mother-in-law came over. She must have thought her son was gone because the car wasn't there. As soon as she opened the door, she started talking like a machine gun.
There are leaves all over the front of the house? Can you even clean up properly? Go clean up the mess. What the hell is gross here? Just like you, bitch. Did you grow up in a pigsty? Just get divorced. Oh my.
Mother, should I tell her John was still here? Or is it better if John finds out so I don't have to tell him, and he will understand? My mother-in-law noticed that I was surprised and weird by the situation that she started saying.
What? Are you trying to talk back to me? It's now or never, I thought.
Mother, please forgive me. I will do my best.
I replied weakly, intentionally sounding like I was about to cry. Then my mother-in-law's bullying raccoon mode kicked into top gear.
What do you mean, I'll do my best? She said. You're doing nothing. It's useless. You are useless. Useless.
I tried to sound like I was about to cry even more. Oh, please don't. I pleaded. I was starting to enjoy it more and more.
Don't touch me, you pigsty bitch. How many times should I say I hate you? Can't imagine that my Johnny has to eat your pig food meals. Just divorce my Johnny. I don't care if it's a monkey or a pig, as long as it's not you. You call me a pigsty woman, but you do care if your son marries a pig? What a nonsense. I was trying hard to hold back my laughter.
That's when it happened. We heard the sound of the toilet water flushing. My mother-in-law looked at me like, no way. I got down on the floor and hid my face because I was about to collapse with laughter.
Mom, what was that?
John came out of the bathroom. My mother-in-law turned pale when she saw the face of her son, who was mad like a demon.
John, why are you here?
That's my question too. Why are you here and what are you doing?
No, just how come you're here?
Today's afternoon shift. Why are you saying such horrible things to Mary? You always seem to get along so well with her. What's going on?
I was on the floor glancing at my husband. He looked like some kind of American hero.
No, it's not what you think. I was just teaching her because she didn't do her duty well.
Saying you hate her, get a divorce, and calling her a pig is not teaching her how to do housework. I heard everything you said. This isn't the first time today, huh? Even if it's you, Mom, this is unforgivable.
You set me up.
My mother-in-law grabbed me by the shoulders and tried to pull me up.
Mother, stop it.
If I show my face now, she'll know I was laughing.
Stop it, Mom. Just get out of here.
My mother-in-law was yelled at by her favorite Johnny, and she stepped out of the room sobbing. Soon after, my laughter subsided and I sat up, making a face like I was crying. John wiped my tears, saying I'm sorry. But they were the tears I was holding back from laughing. I'm sorry. I told my husband everything that had happened. That she visits me every morning at this time. That the hives were not serious at the beginning, but her bullying made it worse, and that my whole body is covered by them now.
I'm sorry I didn't realize how hard it had been for you. It won't happen anymore. You don't have to put up with it. I'll think about how to handle this. My mom might come over today, so will you go out until I get home?
My husband's words brought tears to my eyes again. By the way, these are tears of joy. I am so glad that I married this man. At the same time, I wondered how such a wonderful man was born from that mother. I muttered to myself, a monster raccoon gave birth to a Pegasus. After that, we left the house. I had lunch and went to karaoke. What a wonderful afternoon. I felt refreshed for the first time in a long time. My mother-in-law was calling and texting me like a demon. I replied that I would forward the emails to John, and I would let him listen to her voice message. This time I got triple the number of apology messages. I guess she has a lot of free time on her hands. Then, after John finished work, we went out to dinner together.
He said, let's go talk to Mom and Dad about this. Let's move out of that house. I don't know what my dad would say, but if we sell the house now, I think we saved a lot from the loan. I don't think you want to see them anymore, so I'll be the one to talk. I'm really sorry about everything.
He was so nice that I felt guilty for the fake cry. Then we went to their house. The moment we arrived home, my mother-in-law stared at me with a very scary face, but I replied with my best smile.
Johnny, listen to me. Listen. It was really a mistake this morning. You know,
She kept making excuses, but John ignored her and said,
Dad, can you sit down for a minute? I need to talk to you.
My father-in-law looked at him strangely, but he sat down at the dining table with his son, while John was telling him what had happened. My father-in-law looked at him with a blank stare, as if he couldn't believe what he was hearing. And my mother-in-law was crying the whole time.
Mary, I want to apologize to you too. I'm really sorry. What my wife did is unforgivable. Bullying is not something an adult should do. This is the responsibility for both of us.
My father-in-law said, shrugging his head.
You should apologize properly too.
He told my mother-in-law and made her bow her head.
I'm sorry.
My mother-in-law cried and apologized as if she was chanting a curse in a small voice. It sounded a little like a curse, and I was scared.
We are moving out too. I agree to sell the house. It's definitely better to keep our physical distance. I'll pay the short on the loan, so you two don't have to worry about money.
Then my mother-in-law started screaming like a child.
No way. I won't do it again, I promise. Don't leave me, Johnny.
Just shut your mouth. Do you think we have a choice? You are the one who caused it.
When my father-in-law scolded her, she stopped saying anything. It was a big deal for my father-in-law to shout at her so loudly. My father-in-law and my husband are always so kind. I've never seen them so angry.
Thank you, Dad. I'll do the application, and I'll call you when it's settled.
Thank you, Father.
Everything that I had been holding back for so long was resolved in one day. I was so tired that I went home and fell asleep immediately. It was the first time in a long time that I could sleep so well without worrying about the next day. I went to my friend's place so that I wouldn't have time to be alone at home until we decided where to go. I had hives all over my body, but the day after I fought off my mother-in-law, they disappeared. The human body is so amazing. I guess the illness comes from inside. A week later, we signed a contract for a flat near John's office. Now I feel as if I am newlywed again and John and I are getting along peacefully. I still get a little nervous when the doorbell rings in the morning when I'm home alone because of the trauma. However, I'm slowly getting back to the way things were before we moved into the double family house. I heard that my in-laws have also started living together in an apartment. Fortunately, the house sold for a good price and they were able to pay the rest of the loan with my father-in-law's savings. My mother-in-law was depressed for a while and stopped doing housework, but my father-in-law got angry with her, and she went back to her duty. Furthermore, he is planning to make my mother-in-law work part-time, telling her there is still unpaid on the house. I felt sorry for the people at the part-time job because they would have a hard time. My father-in-law won't let my mother-in-law know our new house. The fact alone is enough to make me feel safe. I saw my mother-in-law for the first time in a long time at my sister-in-law's wedding the other day. I hadn't seen her in a few months, but she had lost a lot of weight. I tried to have a short conversation with her, but she got scared and ran away when she saw me. The timing of John going to the bathroom at that time was really a miracle. I can spend the morning relaxed doing my chores without the doorbell ringing. It is the only thing that gives me peace of mind every day. For the first time in a long time, I feel happy